Hey there, everybody. It's Dr. Roto. Get out the insurance cards. Get out the copay. The office is open, my friends. I get to host tonight with my good friend Pilar Lastra. Pilar, how have you been? It's been forever since we've been on radio together.
It has. It has been way too long. And I feel like pretty much everybody working in the world of fantasy sports, our paths are always parallel, right? Like we're always with the same crowd, knowing the same people, working for the same people. But I'm actually so happy that I get to work with you tonight. I was actually on your site. I love that you got your own thing now, drroto.com.
I do have my own thing. It's been a year and change, and very proud of it. And it's, we're making a lot of people happy and getting a lot of winners because I told people I'm committed to their fantasy success, Pilar. Their winning is more important than me winning.
You know what? That's how it was in my world for so long. And then last year, I felt like I wasn't as diehard covering fantasy football live the way that I was for so many years prior. It was nice for me to start really winning when all I had to really worry about was my own teams, my neighbors' teams, my stepson's teams, my husband's teams, my sister's teams. While it felt like a lot, it was still just so much smaller because I feel like as an analyst, you certainly do. You give up your own leagues because you're so invested in everybody else's. So
it's so true. It's like, we do a Discord on Sundays. And so I'm in there, I'm helping people. And then we get out about noon and I'm first going back over my lineups, right? But it's more important. I got to get their lineups in. I got to make sure they're happy. So, but I'm very happy to be hosting with you tonight. And this is a big game. I mean, I think there's a lot of fantasy implications here. It's not going to be the highest scoring game, I don't think, but you've got Cooper Kupp, you've got Deebo Samuel, you've got Matt Stafford, you've got our friend Jimmy G. Do you have anybody going tonight that can help you win?
So fortunately, not really in my season longs, but I do have 2 games going in daily. I got a little ambitious, I would say, on my bets. I've been working with Holden for the last 2 weeks.
He's sharp.
He really is. And I feel like he's really made me feel so much more comfortable. And look, I mean, I'm making it very clear, and I made it very clear from even like last year when I first started working with sports betting as opposed to just strictly fantasy. I am still learning. Holden has been a great teacher, but Holden has also given me that oomph of, hey, give it a shot. That's the best way to learn. So yesterday, I was playing with my husband's account.
Always smart to play with his account, not yours.
Yes. But today he did make sure that I was logged into my own account and I didn't have any issues logging in. So I had to play with my own money today.
Darn. Yeah.
So maybe I was a little bit more conservative, but I know we're certainly going to be talking about the bets that people have today. I certainly want to know what our audience is sweating tonight. I mean, is there anybody that you guys are sweating? Hit us up, join in on the fun. We still have another hour-ish before games. So we're going to give our thoughts on some of the over-unders. But yeah, do you have anybody going tonight?
I actually don't. I know this sounds crazy, but wait, I take that back. I have Allen Robinson in one league. I don't have many 49ers this year. I don't have any Deebo. I don't have any Kittle. I don't have any Jeff Wilson. Somebody said, if I can get 18 out of Jeff Wilson, I'll feel good. You would feel good if you get 18 out of Jeff Wilson.
18 fantasy points or 18 yards?
No, 18 fantasy points.
Please describe your. I don't know if I can see anybody in tonight's game having 18 fantasy points. I mean, I don't know.
Well, let's see. If Cooper Kupp goes 6 for 80, he's going to need to score to get those 18. He's probably the one. You would think Deebo and Cooper Kupp are the 2 guys that could get you close. Jeff Wilson's going to have to find the end zone.
100%. I mean, really, look, the one that I had going, Cooper Kupp was the biggest one. I mean, I had Cooper Kupp 93.5 points over under on that one. I was too scared to even take that because I'm like, he's the one guy that could certainly get you 93 yards. Right. But at the same time, do I want to sweat every second and millisecond of this game right now over a problem I can just avoid. So anybody who took the over on Cooper Kupp 93.5, I need to hear from you, because I feel like unless he catches a major bomb, some 65-yard crazy pass, we're going to be sweating at the entire game, because they're going up a pretty good defense.
See, I have a feeling about you here. I have a feeling that when you see that big number, it scares you off as a new bettor. You're like, 93 feels like a big number, right? It feels like a number he's not going to get to. But Cooper Kupp can get to 130 yards receiving, no problem. You just have to believe in him, right? I don't want to, trust me, if his over-under's at 95, that means he's going to get the football. The guy whose over-under's 32, you're praying that this guy gets the football.
Right. And no, absolutely. That's a very good point. But I don't know. I don't know how many yards I could have even said that I'm going to anticipate Stafford getting, or Jimmy Garoppolo. I mean, this is a really good defense that the Rams are facing. And the reason why I think it's such an interesting matchup is because, Bettor Boss, I got to give you a shout out. It's Allen Robinson Monday. You either believe
or you do not.
Or you do not. Yep. I agree. Price will never be lower. So in my daily matchups tonight, I had to say it's either Allen Robinson tonight or it's a bust.
Is he your captain? And is he your captain of your showdown?
He is not my
captain. Oh, captain is not your. Who's your captain?
He is not my captain. I'll tell you right now. It is because I got two going. So let me pull up my lineups.
We're all waiting in bated breath for Pilar's lineups.
So Deebo Samuel in one, right, and then Higbee in another.
Higbee. So, why Higbee?
You know what? Honestly, so this one was one that I was playing for free.
Okay.
So
you're like, what the heck?
It's the one where I get a little bit more like, why not? Let's just do something.
Let me light different. Money on fire here.
Yeah, it's like, why not? I like the free ones. I feel like that's the best way to take a chance, right?
Do the free chance. Philly Max says he's up by 31.4 in a PPR. The opponent has Kupp and Kittle. I have no one left. It's going to be a long night.
It is going to be a long night. But Kittle to me tonight is going to be pretty much a boom or bust player, right? I think he's either going to have a phenomenal night, or I just don't see him doing anything. And the reason why I say that is because the Rams defense have been pretty generous to opposing wide receivers. So far this year, six different receivers have gotten over their numbers. So I think it's going to be more of a receiver involvement than George Kittle. So I took the under on George Kittle. He was at 43.5. And I know that he's played pretty well against the Rams, but I feel like what I'm seeing it from the Rams this year is that they've been pretty generous to wide receivers.
But Philly Mac said exactly what I was going to say to you next. Good for you, Philly Mac. You're in the visionary brain here. He said, think Kittle will be blocking with the big guy missing from the offensive line. Yes. See, that's the thing. When they go up against the team that has a really good pass rush, Kittle stays in and blocks more because he's one of the best blockers out there. When he's able to go out there and run routes, he will. But I think tonight he's going to stay in and block more, Pilar. And when that happens, you're going to need 31.4 from Cooper Kupp. I don't see that happening there.
Yeah, it's going to be a good game. There's certainly a lot going on. Guys, keep letting us know what you guys are sweating out tonight. Hit the fun button. Maybe give us a call. I mean, it's Monday night. Have some fun. This app is so easy. It's a fun button and then a call button. So
this is like the most interactive site ever, right? Like on SiriusXM, you call up, you wait like 75 hours to get a hold of somebody. Here, just come right in and talk to us.
Totally. And we see it right here. So this is a lot of fun. Spy007, I love that name. Spy007 is saying, glad you're okay, Dr. Roto. Your sage advice was sorely missed last week. Sage?
Hey, easy. Are you kidding? The visionary wisdom. I know it was a very hard week. It was Hurricane Ian here. It was a disaster, but thank you so much. I will be back tomorrow. I will be back on Friday. We'll be doing our thing here on the Bettor Sports Network. I love being here with you guys, but Pilar, I don't wish storm surge on anybody I know. I don't want to put this on a downer, but you haven't lived until you've seen 18 feet of storm surge. I mean,
I don't even want to imagine. It's been absolutely heartbreaking what I'm seeing. I've got some family in Florida, and I used to live in Texas. I remember the tornadoes we used to get. I was just a kid, and I would think like, wow, this is aggressive. Like we would do the tornado drills in school all the time. And, we'd get hit by some pretty heavy hurricanes too. It's one of the things I don't miss. Then I moved to California where we got landslides, riots,
earthquakes.
And fires.
And now you have blizzards in Michigan. You're going all over the map.
Yes.
Yeah.
And now I'm getting blizzards in Michigan. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy you're safe. My good thoughts are going out to everybody who's dealing with this, who's got family dealing with this, but I'm happy it feels like now it's just more regrouping and rebuilding versus still holding our breath.
So Philly Mac says, glad you're good. Thinking about coming down for the Baltimore versus Tampa game on October 27th. Should I stay away or come down? I think you could come down. Tampa did not get as whacked as we did down here in Fort Myers. So I think you should be good. That should be a really good game. Speaking of Tampa, Pilar, man, Tampa feels to me that they could be on the outs this year. If they weren't in the division they're in, they might not even make the playoffs. I mean, they do not look good to me at all. There's nothing good about them. And Tom Brady looks like he's lost more weight, and it's scaring me.
He's so healthy. I don't know if
too healthy.
That would have to be from stress. What's really interesting to me about the whole Tom Brady situation is that I tend to lose faith in players and teams when one of the players, particularly the quarterback, starts going back and forth on, I'm retiring, I'm not retiring, this is it, this is my last hurrah. I completely lost all faith and all likeness or likelihood or whatever it was on Brett Favre when he was doing this. I didn't like to see Tom Brady do this either. So when they're either toying with retirement and saying, yes, I'm retiring, just kidding, no, I'm not, that bothers me. Or when they're holding out for their contracts, when that happens, I say that's it for me. I'm done.
Well, look, I think it's even more than that. So you've got a family, you got a wife, your wife wants to work, right? She's counting on you living up to what you said. But look, I get you're Tom Brady. You miss the locker room. You miss the guys. You miss playing for a championship. It's not like he doesn't have a ton already. Enough already. But I think it affects the team. He wasn't there during training camp. Mm-hmm. The team's not gelling. You got Godwin out and Julio Jones out. They just feel like they're out of sync. And the Chiefs look like they could have scored at will and for most of that game.
No, absolutely. But then let me ask you this on the flip side, because I say that too. Tom Brady, if you miss the game so much, if you love the game so much and you're going to miss it that much, go into coaching. There is not a single team in the NFL that would not hire him in a heartbeat, right? To have him do something as on the coaching staff, right?
He can get a lot more money working for Fox, calling the games. He's going to be getting a lot of money.
I don't think that that's what he wants to do. I genuinely think he likes to be in there. This is Tom Brady. This is the cat who has taken chances on Antonio Brown, on Josh Gordon. He likes to be that guy, Randy Moss. He likes to be that guy that changes a player's life, turns it around, and he likes to be that mentor. So I think he'd be a phenomenal coach.
I've got a very close friend who is, he's actually Troy Aikman's spotter, right? For the games. He travels, let's say 2 days before, he's there for the game, he leaves. So basically he's home 4 days a week with his family and 3 days a week he travels. I think that would have been the right move for Brady. But Philly Mac says, I believe Gronk is coming back. I do too. Brady and Gronk are attached at the hip. Gronk can tell whatever he wants, Pilar. Gronk is back at some point this year making the playoff run. Yeah,
Philly Mac said, check his Twitter. I love when players are hinting things on their social media. I really, really do love it. But you know what, though? Philly Mac, Brady looks sad without him. I concur 100%.
He's not eating. I'm telling you, look at his face. He looks like he's skeletal.
I think, well, there's a lot. I mean, he retired, then he came back. There was a drama with Bruce Arians. Like, he put himself out in the line of fire right now. And so there's a lot to prove for him, I feel like, right now. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully, I would love to see Gronk come back because Gronk is that player. I don't care if he hasn't been playing for how long. Just put him in the end zone, and they're going to find the ball somewhere. They're going to find a way to get him the ball some way, and he's gonna get you touchdowns.
Well, now that Cameron Braid is injured, right? So Kate Otten, I don't know whether you're winning a Super Bowl with Kate Otten. Brady's on the speed dial to Gronk saying, dude, get down here to Southwest
Come
Florida.
back.
The power's on in Tampa. Come back. We need you, right? So I could see that definitely happening. But and he does bring energy and fun, Philly Mac. But we're going to take our first little timeout. And when we come back, we'll start taking a look at some of the injuries that really decimated fantasy football managers, Pilar. There were some ugly ones. Jonathan Taylor, Javonte Williams, Jahan Dotson. There's so many. We'll cover them when we come back right after this.
The Playbook with Fensty and Ronis, presented by FantasyAlarm.com.
The only person, I've said this to you before, who I believe back then, of all those power hitters who truly was clean, Ken Griffey Jr.
I mean, I think so when he got
Body didn't change.
We'll never know that for sure either.
No, dude.
We've seen guys who were not big take substances.
That's true.
I just get busted. So it's not about that always.
I hear you. It's just, don't you think with the way his career kind of went, you would think that he didn't take anything?
I don't think he did, but we'll never know 100%.
I'm going to keep telling myself that he didn't. The 1 year player, I mean, he's my favorite baseball player of all time. In the 1990s, Ron, as a kid, as a 5-year-old kid who plays video games and collected cards, there was no one cooler than Ken Griffey Jr. I still wear my hat backwards because Ken Griffey Jr. did it and he looked really cool doing that, wearing a backwards baseball cap. Like, he made everything the guy did looked cool. Even the home run in the movie Little Big League, it's acting, it's all, I guess, fake, but even he made that look cool. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr., you're a little bit older than me, but in the 90s, was there besides Michael Jordan, was there a more loved athlete than Ken Griffey Jr.?
Yeah, no, I love Griffey. He's one of my favorite players ever, from defensively to hitting his swing. And yeah, I would have loved to see what he could have done if he had stayed healthy, the final numbers he finished with. So no, I was a huge fan of Ken Griffey, and it's a shame though that all those injuries towards the end of his career just really limited the production he put up, but he still put up elite numbers. He was so fun to watch. So I'm a huge Ken Griffey guy.
And here's the other thing too. So 1994, the season got shortened because of the strike.
And he finished with 40 homers in 111 games that year, man. And then he had 56 2 years in a row, 97 and 98, and then 48. He had a stretch 4 years in a row, 49, 56, 56, 48, 40. I mean, unbelievable. And then, yeah, once he hit like 31, he started to miss games, 111, 70, 53, 83. So think about that, all those years that he lost, and he still hit 630 home runs, man. Yeah. So if he was clean, he would have been the all-time home run champion. Again, we're all guessing here, but you would think, all right, well, once he got into age 31, 32, that's when the body started breaking out, which is typical, right, for someone who's not using anything, whereas we saw Barry Bonds just get better with age. And we did not see that with Griffey. So look at 2001, where he's 31, he played on, look at the home runs decline, 8, 13, 20, 35, 27, 30, 18, 15 to his age 38 season. Even age 39 in 170 games, he had 19 home runs. So he probably would have definitely been the all-time home run leader had he been able to stay healthy.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
All right, we are back. It's Dr. Roto here with Pilar Lastra at the Better Sports Network. And of course, we're happy to be here tonight leading up to tonight's game. And of course, into probably the first half of the game with the Rams playing the 49ers. But Pilar, I want to talk to you about some of these injuries this weekend. This was just, here we are, week 4, and Jonathan Taylor's injured. Tua is injured. Daniel Jones gets injured. And let's just talk about Javonte Williams. A lot of people love Javonte this year. I know the guru was talking to him up pretty much every single time you listen to him. I love Javonte Williams, but you're not going to see him this year anymore.
No, you're not. I was going to say, I hope it wasn't last night. I think it was on our show last night that somebody may or may not, it wasn't me, but I'm not going to call out any other co-hosts, that night. Holden, I'm not going to call him out. He may have not wanted a good night for him. He may have not needed a good. I can't remember if it was a positive or a negative when things went south for him. So, but Lord knows, no matter what you're rooting for in your fantasy lineups or your bets, you never want to see somebody get hurt, right? That's 100% not what we like to see. But there was some gnarly injuries. I mean, from quarterbacks to running backs to wide receivers. I mean, it's insane.
Well, the Broncos are playing horrible football. I mean, really horrible football. Javonte Williams is like the one bright spot. And now you don't even have him. I mean, Russell Wilson, Pilar, I don't know if you've seen any of their games this year. The coach is terrible. Wilson looks like $245 million wasted. I don't even know what Denver's going to do. I mean, don't tell me Mike Boone and Melvin Gordon are replacing Javonte Williams, because this team's heading downwards fast.
No way. Absolutely not. But you know what, though? Here's a couple things, though. I hope that we're going to start to see Russell Wilson run the ball more, right? They're going to need him to start doing more on the ground, because I don't really feel that they've got a reliable running back situation right now. And I hope that it also makes them say, hey, guys, we need to get whatever is wrong, we need to get it right. And whether it's a coaching issue or a players not connecting the way that they should be, something needs to change there quick. I mean, we're going into week 5. This is pretty much almost a quarter of the season is done now, right? Like it's now by week 5. If they don't have it together by week 5, I don't know if I'm going to trust this team the rest of the season.
I don't know if I trust them right now, to be quite honest with you. I mean, they got shellacked by the Raiders. The Raiders look like they could have scored another 10 points on them easily. But let me ask you this. You're 0-4 in your league. If you're 0-4 in your league, Pilar, where's your mindset? Are you giving up? Or you're like, hey, I'm done with this? Are you playing for next year already? Are you playing more DFS? Or how many more weeks will you grind it out when you're 0-4?
So if I started out 0-4,
just if
I would be really crying at that point. I would sit down, I would take a day off, I'd hire a sitter for the whole day.
Spa day for Pilar.
Yes, I'd have to start with a spa day. Then I'd come home, have a nice dinner, a bottle of wine, some hors d'oeuvres, look at my team, and start making trades. Crazy trades. I mean, 0-4, there would have to be something really, really wrong. I'd start looking, is this a problem with injuries?
Right. Or is it me? Right.
Or is it me? Was it the way that I drafted? And what can I do now at this point? What can I do with my number 1 pick that is going to be of some value to somebody else to start getting two players that are going to get me 12 points consistently versus probably the 4 to 6 that I'd be getting.
Well,
like if I had Kyle Pitts.
Right. Somebody sent me a trade offer today, and he said, what should he do? It was Mark Andrews. He was going to trade Mark Andrews. He was going to get back Melvin Gordon, Pat Freiermuth, and Drake London. Now, you'd say to yourself, those are okay guys, but Andrews is the best player by far.
Right. So they just panicked that he had a bad game last week. But
well,
so
I don't
right.
I think it was panicking about Javonte Williams, right? Because he lost Javonte. So now, right, he gets Melvin Gordon. Now he gets London, who's looked good. But I'm not sure you ever get better trading $1 for 80 cents.
Are you 0-4 in your league?
I'm not 0-4. I'm just
no. I'm just saying, like, if you're 0-4, like that's the kind of stuff you're looking to make, right? Like, what's going to give you a chance, or are you just going to write out your players? Like, if you're 0-4 in your league, you really had to do something wrong, or you had to get riddled by injuries in week 1. You know what I mean? You have to have Dak Prescott. You have to have, Alvin Kamara. You have to have like everybody who has literally gotten injured really early in the season.
But let's say you had Alvin. Let's say in round 1, you drafted DeAndre Swift. Round 2, you took Alvin Kamara. Maybe round 3, I don't know, you got somebody. But in round 4, round 3, you took Amon-Ra St. Brown. And in round 4, you got somebody, Gabe Davis. Did you draft?
It would be a phenomenal draft. So
I know, but you might be losing.
Right. So I don't know any league though that Alvin Kamara fell to the 2nd round. You can see DeAndre Swift. So, but okay, let's just say that was a hypothetical, right? Yeah, you'd be in a lot of trouble.
Did you do anything wrong with your draft?
What's that?
Did you do anything wrong with your draft? You did nothing wrong.
No, you did nothing wrong, right? You just came into a situation of bad luck. So in that situation, right? Look, Alvin Kamara is going to come back. I don't think he should come back before week 6. I think that a rib injury should last. I mean, it was a cartilage from his rib. This is not something that easy, right? It's going to take the full 6 weeks. So after week 6, I think that you're going to be okay on that one, right?
Right. So you just have to but next week is week 5. So you got to get through 2 more weeks. So Spy007 said, took your advice, Dr. Odom, have 2 online teams, $350 entry fee at the FFWC. Unfortunately, they have not done well. Do you start pancaking, or I'm thinking he said panicking, and start overbidding for players like Mike Boone? So look, Pilar, Mike Boone is going to be the backup now in Denver.
Mm-hmm.
But Mike Boone is the definition. When I open up the dictionary and I look for the word jag, Mike Boone is a jag. He's just a guy. And I don't want to be the guy spending $600 on Mike Boone because I don't think that's helping me win.
I would agree. I wouldn't spend big money. But then again, I don't spend big money until the end of the season. You know, BK wrote, don't pancake at 0-4. You shouldn't waffle on your decision either.
Bennett's been sitting there probably waiting to write that one. But,
oh my goodness. I want to hit the fun button on that one. That one was phenomenal. That was a good one. But yeah, I'm going to put some syrup on this conversation.
Are you going to flip it around on us?
I'm going to flip it around and put some syrup on this conversation. I would certainly not go all in on anybody right now. I mean, there's nobody that is going to take over for the year. If this was, a week ago, 2 weeks ago, well, actually like a week ago, really, and I still had Jamal Williams on waivers, that would be somebody that I would have certainly put a lot more money into than what I normally would be okay with, because DeAndre Swift's injury actually does concern me long-term. And I think that now Jamal Williams has been a player who year after year after year has stepped in as a backup when their, number one running back has gone down and proven to be perfectly capable of carrying the workload. So I think that Detroit is going to say, you know what, Swift, you get healthy. And they're going to let him really continue to run the ball, carry the workload for as long as needed. They're not going to rush DeAndre Swift back. I don't see that.
No, I think he comes back week 7. Yeah. So Replay Reel says spending big on Kenny Pickett and Superflex. I love that idea, Replay Reel, and I'm going to tell you why. If you watched any part of that game, you're going to see Kenny Pickett had 2 rushing touchdowns and he had 3 interceptions. But if you watch that game, those interceptions were not his fault. He was chucking them deep. Those were not typical bad passes. Those were just, things that happened during a game. I don't blame Pickett on those. I think Pilar, Kenny Pickett is a really good pickup. And by the way, he helps George Pickens. He helps Claypool. He helps Deontay. And Pat Freiermuth went ham after Kenny Pickett got in the game.
Right. I agree. I really do like this. And, kudos to Pittsburgh for benching Trubisky in the second half, because it takes some cojones to do that. And especially when I feel like Mitchell Trubisky is that guy that people want to love and people want him to be a great quarterback. And I just don't see that happening. I just don't.
I don't see me wanting to love Mitch Trubisky ever. I hate this dude.
I feel like as a person.
Oh, I'm sure he's a nice guy and all, but I'm sure I'd like to go to dinner with him. I don't want to start him on my fantasy team, Pilar.
BK just said, who knew Mitch Trubisky was bad? Asking as a Bears fan.
Everyone, right?
I mean, the Bears traded up to get him, and then it was a complete bust. So, yeah, I mean, I like this change. I hope it stays, and we'll definitely see what's going to be the outcome there. But hey, we've got a fun guest joining us right now. Start hitting the fun button, party people.
All right. Is the fun guest ready to join us, Bennett? I think
I hope so.
I hope so. So his name is Jeff Cadillac. And he is going to be talking about tonight's Monday Night Football best bets and a little review of week 4. So, Jeff, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Bettor Sports Network. I'm Dr. Roto along with Pilar Lastra. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, so people can also check you out on your website at, www.jeffcadillac.com. You're also on Twitter.
I need some followers, folks. Got to spread the word.
Yeah,
I did. I quoted your tweet. I threw it out there, Jeff. I did what I could.
I saw it. Thank you very much. Thank you.
At Jeff Cadillac 1 is where you can follow his insights and his betting information. Interesting game coming up tonight, huh? Are you?
Yeah. Division rivalries. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go on.
Division rivalries are always tough. You have to analyze them a little differently than you do, let's say, the Rams playing a team in the rest of the NFL. The division rivalries, they see these teams twice a year. There's always some kind of, uneasiness between the two teams. They know the coaching staffs very well. They get a feel for each team. You rarely see blowouts between division rivalries.
That's true. Jeff, is there a prop bet that you're liking tonight? I know earlier we talked about Cooper Kupp maybe going over 95.5. Matthew Stafford's at 248.5. Is there anyone out there that you like?
I'd like to see how many yards Jimmy G runs for tonight. I know last week he probably had negative. He probably had last week against Denver. I think he had like negative yards with all the fumbles and everything that he had. But I'm thinking, hopefully he's going to have a better game this week, because that game against Denver last week was a disaster.
So I saw that Jimmy G is for the over-under is at 228.5 passing yards. I didn't see what his rushing yards were. I don't know if I could bet on his rushing ones. That one would stress me out just a little bit. I think a little too much coming from Jimmy G.
Yeah, I think he's not. He's been rushing in the past, but I think he's more under the gun. He's like the unwanted stepchild right now in San Francisco.
Right.
He didn't even get to do a whole training camp with the team. Trey Lance was already told he was the number one guy. I think, Jimmy G was, partying it up during the summer months when he should have been in training camp and they were trying to trade him. We'll see. But he's definitely, auditioning for a steady job come next year. Unless he takes San Francisco to the Super Bowl and wins, I think he'll be with another team next year. But
he could be with Carolina, Jeff, because they need somebody with Baker Mayfield. Looks like the rushing yards prop is 2.5 yards. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take the over on that, Jeff. I think Jimmy G is going to be running for his life with Aaron Donald breathing down his neck.
I have to agree with you there. I like that. I like that prop bet. That's it's fun. Probably a lot of people aren't even thinking about it, but I would definitely take over 2.5 yards for Jimmy G. I could see him on a third down and maybe, third down and 4, and they're thinking that he's going to pass the ball, and then he runs for the first down and then some, maybe gets a whole total of 7 yards.
Yeah, I don't know. That one's a little too wishful thinking and a little too rich for my rookie betting blood. This is like where I say I have to sit this one out. I don't even know if I can take the under on it, because your logic makes sense, but it's just a little too scary for me on
Pilar,
that
we
one.
need to make you a true degenerate, Pilar. Right? We have to bring you to the depths of gambling degenerate.
Right. Let me just remind everybody that my husband does have all the passwords to my accounts and does monitor them.
Oh my God. Jeff, we got to figure this out for her, because we can't have her husband checking out what she's doing with our betting for her.
Totally.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. He was never questioning anything that I was doing when it came to just regular daily lineups or season long stuff. But I do feel that, ever since I started working with Holden, he started asking me for passwords. So
Maybe you have somebody check on him.
Exactly. So
right?
Jeff,
I know.
Where did you go right in week 4, Jeff? What were some of the plays that you hit on, and where'd you miss in week 4?
I find this season to be a very sloppy season. It's games where I liked Jacksonville yesterday against Philly because I liked Doug Peterson trying to give it to back to Philly. But I don't think Trevor Lawrence got the message in the meetings this past week because he personally lost that game. That was a winnable game for Jacksonville at Philly, and I like Jacksonville getting the points at Philly. And they were up 14-0. But when your quarterback has 5 turnovers, four lost fumbles and an interception, I mean, it looks like he's wearing Philadelphia's jersey yesterday. It was terrible.
It was some bad weather. It was some bad weather there, though. Yeah.
Yeah, but Philly was still playing the game. But I mean, as a quarterback, there's so many people that have said the same thing, that you have to have that running clock in your head. You don't think you could stand back in the pocket 10 seconds and think nobody's going to finally hit you. It's not like Alabama's playing, some Division III team that they just brought in to, kick their butt. And the guy is never going to touch the quarterback, even in warm-ups. This is the NFL. Get to you. And the quarterback has to have like that clock going on in his head. And Trevor Lawrence didn't have it yesterday because that was a winnable game for Jacksonville. And I was kind of like, I was thinking about it. Doug Peterson, wouldn't it be great for him to come back to Philly? And, football is a very psychological sport, and there's a lot of things that go on in guys' minds in preparation for the week ahead. And that's one of the biggest disappointments I had during the week.
Yeah. Jeff, going into tonight's game, we've got about another 30-ish minutes or so before kickoff. So for people that want to get their bets in, right? There's a couple of them that I do want to go over with you. Get your thoughts, get your persuasion. Maybe I should change some of the ones that I have. Maybe your guidance. I don't want to make this about me, but I don't want to lose, and then I'm going to be in bet timeout for next week. I don't want to do that. So just some people that are out for tonight's game. Tyler Kroft is out for the 49ers. Davis Price is out for the 49ers. Bryce Hopkins, he is out for the Rams. He's got that 3-game suspension for violating the substance abuse policy. I think that kind of upped Tyler Higbee's stock much more than what I already liked him. So those are the ones that are out. It's 49ers are favored by -1.5. I ended up taking the Rams with the points, the +1.5. I'm going to tell you what I did, and the over-under is 42. So I took the Rams on the money line, right? I said I think they're just going to win this straight out. And then I took them with the points as well. And then I ended up taking the under. I just don't see this being a high-scoring game. But the Rams at +1.5, I almost felt like this should have been just a little bit different, because I do think that the Rams are a good team. Maybe they're not playing the way we're expecting them to be playing as, Super Bowl winning champions from last week. But what are your thoughts on this?
Well, there's a lot of things that I see in the Rams this year that is different from last season. Stafford is not playing the same as he was last year. He was playing with a purpose last year. There was a lot of doubt that was talked about him during the season. They brought him in. Look what he did in Detroit. He was Mr. He'd always throw at least 3 interceptions in a game. He'd always have to come back. Could he do it? Now that he's won the Super Bowl, there's not really, I don't think there's that much pressure on him. And he's in a few of these games this year already, he's reverted back to his Detroit ways. And there's still kind of a question about his elbow, because if you watch him, some of those passes that he's making are not as crisp as they were last season. So that's always a factor. That's always something I'm looking at when I'm looking at the Rams. They haven't been playing as, that killer instinct.
Right.
So, and I wasn't crazy about the game they played last week at Arizona. Arizona, few different, bounces either way, and that game is tied, or maybe even Arizona wins. I wasn't thrilled about the way they played against Atlanta, the way they let them come back. They got beat out bad on Thursday night to start the season against Buffalo. Those aren't impressive games. San Francisco, the last week's game was terrible. But San Francisco has kind of played the Rams pretty well at home in prime time. And
last year they did.
Yeah, and like I said, division rivalries and division rival games are looked at a lot differently and a lot closer because they know that, Kyle Shanahan, he knows the Rams. Sean McVeigh, he knows the 49ers. Mm-hmm. Jimmy G has to step up. He played horribly last week, 11-10. The defense, San Francisco knows they can play better because remember, this team went to the championship against the Rams last year. And if it wasn't for that caught interception by Tart, I think it was, they win the game. And it's San Francisco.
Who's your pick tonight? Who's your pick tonight, Joe? Who are you going with?
I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah. I like San Francisco at home. I think that San Francisco's going to, bounce back is very big here. They played horrible last week. After a loss, teams regroup. They look at different things. They look at things to improve themselves. It's a tight game. I like the under on this. I don't think it's really going to be a shootout. I think San Francisco and the Rams are going to have it's going to be a tight game. I like San Francisco. Lay the 1.5.
And the over-under is 42. You're taking the under 42 there?
I like under. I like a tight game. I think definitely a turnover late in the game is going to decide which way this game goes. Maybe a field goal at most. And that's how I'm feeling. I don't see it being a runaway either way. I'd be shocked if it's a blowout.
Jeff, you said something that was very interesting right now. So I live in Detroit. I've had my share of Matthew Stafford. and I do agree. But I also feel like he has played for the Lions. He has put his body out there. He's played with a broken back. He's played with a busted finger. He would play no matter what. He is a hard player. But I do think when he left to go play for the Rams, he got to a point where he did not want to play for Detroit anymore. I think that he just felt this is not, now it's not you guys, it's me. He didn't want to play here. I do agree with you. He was playing with a chip on his shoulder. And I find it very interesting that you're saying like now he doesn't really have that much to play for, because I also feel the same way about Sean McVeigh. I feel that last year there was all that pressure on Sean McVeigh, and Sean McVeigh was making some moves, bringing in Von Miller, bringing in Odell Beckham Jr. He was making some moves to win now. And I feel like now that he got his Super Bowl, hey, both of them may just be backstroking in the ocean right now. Like,
wait. I think you guys are overreacting here. Who did the Rams lose to? Who did the Rams lose to this year? The Bills?
Buffalo.
Are the Bills not the best?
Yes.
Is Buffalo not the best team in the league?
100%.
So, I mean, what have they done wrong? They don't have a third receiver. Allen Robinson is just getting in the mix there. They struggled with Akers week one. I think the Rams are finding themselves. I think sometimes teams have to play into a groove. And the Rams, this is a big week, I think, for the Rams. And it's a big week for the 49ers as well, because like Jeff said, this is a divisional game, but you got to start getting into that groove where he's got to be using Allen Robinson. You can't just go to Cooper Kupp and expect to win in the NFL. Jeff, how do the Rams fix the offensive problems?
Well, Stafford can't just rely on one guy. He's got to spread the offense out. And in the NFL, if you have no running game, you can forget about winning, because a quarterback who throws 50 times a game is not going to consistently win. You might win one or two games throughout the season, but defenses are going to tee right off on you, and they know what's coming. So it's basically going to be like shooting fish in a barrel. If the Rams really want to get back on track, they have to somehow get their running game back on track as well to take pressure off of Stafford, so he knows that he doesn't have to pass on almost every down. And that's very important to any offense. I mean, you said something about Sean McVay, the pressure's off him. Well, I think the pressure is always on a head coach, because it's he's the one that answers to the press. He's the one that answers to the owner and to the fans. And Sean McVay's a young guy. I mean, he could take his Super Bowl and ride off into the sunset and everything. But if he wants to, coach again or coach longer in the NFL, he's got to take it as serious as possible and show that he can win even after a Super Bowl. Because, some teams do get lackadaisical, and we've seen that the Super Bowl winner a lot of times doesn't even make the playoffs the following year. So Stafford also has to spread. What?
That's almost like everything changes so much.
Right. And Stafford has to show that he still wants it. And the team, the offense, I mean, look, they let Atlanta come back in that game, a few weeks ago. And basically, if you're a Ram fan, you're biting your nails to the end. Sean McVeigh, his tendency is if they get a nice lead, he sort of plays the conservative role and he starts playing not to lose, which is a bad way to play in the NFL, because if you give the other team hope, they're going to come back. If they know there's a chance that they can win, they're going to play hard. And then the momentum changes. And you saw what happened with Atlanta. They left the door open and Atlanta almost came all the way back.
All right, Jeff, before we let you go, tell everybody out there how they can find you.
Okay. Let's see. Of course, you can find me on my website at jeffcadillac.com. You can find me on Twitter at jeffcadillac1. Let's see. Maybe I should get out the whole list, huh?
Yeah. Get it out.
I'm writing some articles for sportskita.com. I'm picking games for them. I'm writing some articles. Hopefully you can find me there. I'm been doing some guest spots on the Bettor Sports Network, which I love coming on this network. I think it's a great idea. I love being here. I hope hopefully to be here many more times in the future. And I love talking about football. Anything you guys want to know, just ask.
We appreciate you. Jeff Cadillac, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. You guys have a good evening.
You got
Thanks
it.
so much. You too. Good luck on your bets tonight.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. We come back. Tua or no Tua? Did Miami do the right thing or the wrong thing? Right after this.
Front Yard Fantasy with Simon, JL, and Coop.
JL, I think this is the game everyone's been waiting for, and the moment in this game that we are probably going to have to talk about for at least the next 15 minutes. The Miami Dolphins took down the Buffalo Bills 21-19, and we got to talk about it. The play of the game, the butt punt.
The butt punt.
Punted straight into Trent Sherfield's abyss between his legs is where that
booty
football
patootie.
determined. It was straight up there. It could not have been aimed better up that Tuchus. Like, he just went for it. Like, you look at the picture, shout out USA Today photographer that caught that image, because wow, moment of impact, and you can really see just how well aimed between the cheeks that ball was. And Craig said, did y'all see Mark Sanchez's tweet to the punter? I did. Mark Sanchez tweets, stay out of my lane, bro.
That's pretty good.
I love all these self-aware tweets yesterday. Mark Sanchez, Orlovsky, like they're just coming in and like poking fun at themselves.
Yeah.
That's pretty good stuff right there.
Corey Nando and Friends, presented by Mayo Media.
Speaking of TV, last night I tried to watch Aaron Judge.
Did you watch the K-Rod broadcast?
Yeah, so here's the thing.
Rodriguez?
Look, I went to ESPN Plus and I'm like, I want to watch this K-Rod thing because they had Roger Clemens and they had Barry Bonds on.
Nice.
At the same time, Bonds brought up when Clemens hit him on his piece of armor. And
Yeah,
Clemens
exactly.
like, oh, it was a strike, man. It was a strike.
No,
Like, it
Clemens was like, if you wear, and I don't blame Clemens, if you wear that thing, right, that piece of armor, and you on top of the plate like that, target practice. I'm gonna see if I can hit that joint.
But dude, it was, and he was. I mean, Clemens, it was a strike. Get off the plate. Is basically what he said.
Yeah, exactly. Get off the plate.
Can you imagine the three of them? Like you're Michael Kay, and you're sitting there with Barry Bonds, Alex Rodriguez,
and Roger.
Three guys who should be in the Hall of Fame and are not. Like who should have been like first ballot slam dunk Hall of Famers.
That's the problem. That's the problem with the game.
We should get them on the show. All three of them together on the show.
That'd be cool. Corey Nando and Friends. They're the friends.
They're the friends. I mean, why not, right? They seem like nice guys.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
I just started watching the Jeffrey Dahmer series on Netflix last night, which I knew a
Well,
lot.
that looks pretty freaky, man. Is it as frightening and kind of eerie as it looks?
Yeah, it's like disturbing. Like, there's no.
You think? He ate people, Ray. It better be disturbing
Well,
to you.
I know the story. He ate people and I murders. I knew, but I didn't know he was drunk all the time. And
Well, Ray, I mean, we've all been there. You get the munchies when you're drunk. That would be actually a defense in court. Your Honor, I was drunk the whole time. I was hungry and I needed food and my neighbor was there.
Right.
What am I supposed to do?
I thought, and he had like beer cans all over his place. There was a lot of Miller and Bud. I guess he was not only was he a person of opportunity with the killings, he was a beer drinker of opportunity. Because I don't think you normally do one and the other. You should do one or the other.
I don't want to tell AB or Miller how to do their business, but don't go marketing that Jeffrey Dahmer loved your beer while he was eating kidneys.
All right, we're back. It's Dr. Roto here with Pilar Lastra at the Bettor Sports Network. Now, Pilar, your kids are young. My kids are much older.
Mm-hmm.
We play this would you rather game. So it's like, would you rather X or Y? Would you rather be Pilar Cadillac or Pilar Buick?
Ooh, I mean, how about Pilar Porsche?
Oh, I like the alliteration there. Now we're working.
Pilar Bugatti? Pilar Rolls Royce? I mean, I feel
Pilar
like
Bentley. Pilar Bentley. I mean, these are
Bentley. That's a good one. Like,
that's a good one.
But sticking, Better Boss, you're right. Pilar F1 racer, 100%.
Right. I mean, Jeff, and that's a great name.
That's a phenomenal name.
A phenomenal name. Right. That you just want to take a pick from that guy.
Totally. I had to ask, does he pronounce it like Cadillac? Like, is it different or is it just like Cadillac? Like
I said it's a Cadillac.
It's Cadillac.
You hear that name and it's like the guy's driving his Coupe de Ville and he's, styling there, betting on the games and, handing out the tickets there. I like it. It's a good degenerate name is all I'm saying.
I love it. But yeah, I probably would have gone Pilar Cadillac out of Pilar Buick.
I like Pilar Porsche. I like Pilar Porsche. That's fine.
It would be Porsche if it was like proper, right? But I wouldn't correct people.
Yeah, I'll take it either way, right?
Right.
All right, so here's my question for you. I don't know if you saw, Pilar Porsche, here's a bet for you. DK has a cup Monday Night Football boost. Cooper Kupp anytime touchdown boosted from a -110 to a +150.
So I saw a bet pop up like this on my app or something. It was like bet $1 and get 100. I think it was if Cooper Kupp has one touchdown.
Right.
Isn't that crazy? So
this is how they reel you in, Pilar.
It is. It's how they reel me in.
Like if Tom Brady gets 1 yard on Prize Picks, you win that.
For more money.
Yeah, just feeling more money. Yeah.
Anytime I feel like my account starts getting low, I start getting these pop-ups for that kind of
like God is hearing my prayer. Thank you for that Cooper Kupp boost.
Right. So Philly Mac, is that what you got? Cooper Kupp, the Monday Night Football boost? Is that what you got?
So let me ask you this. Do you think the boost is a sucker play?
I do. I do.
I'm a very disciplined bettor, Pilar. I truly am. I'm not one of those guys who bets on 100 things. I pick like 2 or 3 things and I go right in on that.
Oh, he's got and Debo anytime touchdown. I like Debo this week. I really, really do like Debo this week. And one of the things that Jeff Cadillac was saying in our last segment is that the Rams have played the 49ers have played really well against the Rams last year. And if you look at what Deebo Samuel has done against the Rams last year, week 10 went off on them. He had 95 yards and the touchdown. Week 18, he had a pretty solid game, 4 catches for 95 yards. And then he had another big game against him, the championship game, 472 and the touchdown. So do I think he can find the touchdown? Yeah, absolutely. So I like that bet a lot.
And you could also parlay it. We'll parlay with Cooper Kupp and Debo. Let's go true degenerate for you.
There you go. The parlaying is what gets me in trouble.
Exactly. It gets everybody in trouble.
Yeah.
All right. So I want to ask you about Tua. Tua, I don't know if you saw last week.
I
The guy
did.
gets hit, gets up, and he's all over the place, right? He's completely all over the place. And then he comes back 4 days later and he gets rammed to the ground. And now I don't know if you saw, they fired the independent neurological consultant.
Mhm.
Did you think it was wise that Miami put him on the field 4 days after it happened in the first place?
I don't, but I go back and forth in who you want to blame in this situation. And ultimately, what I have learned in life is that nobody is a bigger advocate for you than yourself. And you have to sometimes say, it doesn't matter, look, it's Tua time now. This is what we've been waiting year after year for with him. And if I was Tua, would I want to get back on the field? Absolutely. Especially because, it's your job to lose at any given moment, I feel like. I mean, look, Miami hasn't given up on him yet, but I feel like he's felt like he finally is doing really well in Miami. He's doing phenomenal with Tyreek Hill. Would he want to stop that momentum? No, probably not. But should have he said, guys, this is a bad idea.
But athletes don't ever say that, Pilar. Athletes want to play.
I get that. But this needs to change things, because you tell yourself, what are the chances I'm going to have another concussion back to back, right? Here it is. It happens. And I feel that right now, these athletes are so elite and they are so strong and they come at you so hard. And just because you're going to get a penalty or a fine for a hit doesn't mean that it stops them. I mean, you see players, a simple rule of unsportsmanlike conduct, right? They still do it. It's a bonehead penalty and you're still going to get the penalty. You're just not thinking when you're in the game, right?
It's 15 yards. I mean, who really cares? Unless your coach yells at you on the sideline, you don't care about a 15-yard penalty.
They don't even care if the coach yells at them. Right. Unless they're going to start suspending these players, they're not going to care. They're not going to care.
I just think that players want to play.
They do.
It's the coach and the coaching staff and the medical staff. And, it's their duty to protect the player from themselves, right? Protect the player from themselves. And Tua got rocked when he stood up there and he fell down. That was kind of scary to me, Pilar, when I saw that the first time.
I agree. And it's, but then the explanation makes sense, right? If Tua is saying like, oh, it was my back, it just kind of tightened up. And, if you've ever had a pinch in your back or you do kind of like, whoa, you might fall to the ground. You might get kind of shook up a little bit. But at the same time, I almost feel that personally what the NFL needs to say is that, look, if you've had a concussion, regardless of whether or not you pass protocol, you're out for 2 weeks. I was even concerned with the fact that he flew home after so much known information that there's brain trauma here.
Right. That was crazy to me. It's not like being up in a plane with cabin, all the change in pressure. That can't be good for your brain either, right?
No.
Why didn't they just drive? I mean, I know Florida from Cincinnati is pretty far, but I'd rather him take a train or something like that.
I would agree. I agreed. I was more bothered with the fact that he got onto a plane than everything else. And I feel that, hiring an independent third-party neurologist to evaluate him, there's only so much you can evaluate, really. I mean, you're talking to the player, and if the player wants to play, he's going to tell you what he wants to say to get himself in the game, or maybe he's not sure, right? You don't really know what's going on in your brain. You don't really know. I mean,
I hope I know what's going on in my brain. Sometimes I don't.
Right? Yeah. You don't know. It's not like it's a glass that you can just see and be like, oh, right there, that's that 100% a concussion. So I don't know. I think that this whole situation is really unfortunate because I feel like right now more people are just trying to pass the blame. It's like hot potato. Nope, it wasn't the Dolphins' fault. Nope, it wasn't. It was the Spirit. So they're, instead of kind of looking at the true problem and saying the protocol maybe is not working and the protocol needs to change to just be a set thing. Nobody's going to like it. Fantasy players aren't going to like it. NFL players aren't going to like it. Teams aren't going to like it. Fans aren't going to like it. Not a single person's going to like it, but I think in the end, after all this research that we're finding out about concussions and, long-term damage to the brain, guys are killing themselves over this.
Well,
literally.
I mean, look, you'll see 15 years from now, I mean, guys will not, they'll have, there was an article in the Sports Illustrated. It was about the Super Bowl, the team in the final, the Cincinnati Bengals, who lost to the San Francisco 49ers. I think it was the 1990 Super Bowl, something like that. All these guys from the Bengals outside of Boomer Esiason couldn't walk. They had issues. They had problems. And I don't think the NFL does a really great job in insurance for these retired players. They get very cheap. They want all the money, but they don't want to pay these retired players who can't even walk. It really bothers me, Pilar.
They do, Doc. But I agree 100%. But when you look at mental health, there is not an amount of money that could ever fix somebody's mental health. I mean, we lose so many people around the world to mental health. And some of these people got phenomenal insurance. Some of these people have all the money in the world and they still lose the battle to mental health. Anthony Bourdain, you're going to tell me Anthony Bourdain could have seen any doctor probably for free to just cook up a meal
around the world.
Yeah, around the world.
Right.
And this is a real problem. And that's what's heartbreaking to me, that I feel, it just, the NFL needs to change it. And I think that, it's a hot topic right now, but.
All right. Before we take a break, Replay Real asks, Doc, who do I like tonight? I like the 49ers. I think they're just one of those gritty teams who plays the Rams real well. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I think 21-20 feels about right. I still feel like the 49ers just, they like I said, they match up nicely against the Rams. Most teams don't. The 49ers do. So I'll take them. But we're going to take a timeout. When we come back, it's going to be Ask the Doc. Pilar is going to ask me questions. And I'm probably going to screw up some of these answers. I'll try not to. We'll be back right after this.
Speaking of cards, I got two things I want to bring up, and I got them ready for the show today.
Sure.
First of all, I don't know if you ever played this Topps Home Run Challenge game.
No,
like
I
a genius. So I'm in love with Annalise Garcia. So basically, what you do is you scratch off the back, right?
Yeah.
And it gives you a code. And you go and you punch it in, and you have to pick the game that he's going to hit a home run in, right?
Oh, okay, I've never heard of that before.
And then if you do that, you get like a special limited edition card, and it's limited to how many people actually picked he would hit a home run that month. Cool. And then you could double down. If he goes over 425 feet, you get like an extra special card.
Yeah.
So I went on eBay, because I like Annalise Garcia, because all the rest of big names. I got 6 of them, and I totally forgot to punch them in. So I got I think they're coming up Colorado soon or something.
There you go, right there.
I have a month left to punch in 6 Annalise Garcia home run cards.
There you go. Congratulations.
We can do that live on the show if you'd like.
Sure.
Here's the second one.
Okay.
And I think you're gonna like this. I was at Target, and they had Garbage Pail Kids. And
that's pretty cool.
It was Garbage Pail Kids Bookworms, it's called, and it makes fun of book stuff. This is one of the greatest cards I've ever got in my life, and I'm trying to probably buy more. You see
nice,
that right there?
That. That's pretty dope right there.
It's Winnie the Pooper.
Yeah,
and he's pooping on. Look at that.
I like that. That's dope right there. That's clever, Nando.
This is the best card I've ever seen in my life. It's worth $1.50.
I was going to elementary school, right, in the Washington Heights area in New York City. You used to walk down Broadway, and on Broadway and 150th Street, it was a dude. You would go in there, and he used to sell he used to sell the Garbage Pail Kids in the morning before we go to school. So everybody was in that store buying Garbage Pail Kids. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool right there. Yeah, just get that. So I'm up to deal with the Garbage Pail Kids. I think that's pretty cool.
It's Winnie the Pooper.
Yeah, I mean, you see the little poop emojis right there too. That's a cool card, Nando. Yeah,
right. You can get it for like $2.
I like that.
I don't know why. This is my favorite thing in the world right now. I don't even know what to do with it. Like I want to hang it up on my wall or something. Like it's just so. Who comes up with Winnie the Pooh pooping on? Winnie the Pooper.
I like that.
I gotta find something. They even have the balloons the same color as like the actual Winnie the Pooh cartoons.
I like it, Nando. That's sweet.
Anyway,
that's
sorry.
clever.
I just wanted to share that with you. I'll never grow up. That's that'll be old man Corey. Wait a minute. Hey, turn your bass down. I'm going through my Winnie the Pooper collection.
Turn that NBA young boy down. I'm trying to do a show over here. What's going on? No respect. All that boogity, 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 all loud.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk. Sports talk done better.
All right, we're back. It's Dr. Oda here with Pilar Lasher. Welcome to hour number 2 here at the Bettor Sports Network. Pilar, these they always crack me up. These these things where we're listening to other people where they're talking about poop cards and stuff like that, or Ronas is saying something ridiculous.
Oh yeah, Corey and Nando, they're so great. Corey, Nando, and friends. You gotta check them out. If you haven't seen them, check them out. Spread the word. It's such a fun show. I had the privilege and honor of working with Nando last week or the week before. I can't quite remember when it was. No, the week before. He's so much fun. I really want to work with Corey. It's been so long since I've worked with him, but I want that boogity, boogity, boogity as a ringtone.
Can I tell you that Corey and I worked together for years? He's a great guy to work with. Nando's just one of the nicest guys in our industry.
He is.
You know, when I got my first paying job, he sent me an email and he's like, "Doc, congratulations. It's easier to be hit by lightning than it is to get paid in the fantasy industry." I've kept that email. I have kept that email, and Nando's right. So there you go.
That is so true. So yeah.
All right, let's do.
You're checking them out. So
let's do.
What are we? 10 minutes away from kickoff?
Oh my God, that's true.
It is about to start, my friends. Let us know who all you're sweating. I know we've got a lot that we've already covered, but any last minute bets you guys are putting in, we're going to cheer for you guys. So hit us up, call in, maybe have some fun with that. So I'm going to give you real quick my bets. Tell me if you think I should change any of them right away. It's going to have to be a really good argument. Otherwise we're going to set it and forget it. What's already been set, we're going to forget it. And I'm going to sweat it out with you guys. That's just, and I'm going to say it from my chest. I'm going to put it on air so that there's no changing my mind after this. This is it.
All right, I'm ready. Fire away.
So with the over under and the points. So I bet the Rams with the points. I bet the money line on the Rams, and I bet the under 42 points. So I really do need you to be very wrong in the fact that you think that the 49ers are going to win and have a really good game. And I think it's also replay real. I think he's also cheering for the 49ers.
Oh, he's a big 49er fan. Big 49er fan. I'm with you on the under. I'm totally with you on the under. I feel the under happening, but I think it's going to be like 21-20, Pilar, and you're going to be like literally biting your nails at midnight.
Right. No, I will be sweating like I'm on Jeopardy. No way. That would be very, very difficult. Then I also, on some of the prop bets, I stayed away from Stafford with the passing yards, the 255 and a half. I stayed away from that one. I stayed away from the Jimmy G, the 228 and a half passing yards. I wanted nothing to do with these quarterbacks. I don't know what's going to happen here. So
Jimmy G lives on the 225 like hump. That's what he does.
Totally. But he's going to end up with like 216. Right. Even if they
or
win.
229. Yeah, it's going to be one of the two. Yeah.
Right. So this one was just a little too close for comfort for me. But if you guys took them, let me know. Oh,
Philly Mac has a 49er win. I have a 49er win. Replay Real has a 49er win. Don't change it, Pilar, because you'll be upset.
23-20. Man, it's me against the world right now. Me against the world. 23-20 49ers wins what Philly Mac has got.
If you win, you could just beat your chest saying, I'm the best.
I'm going to have to. I'm gonna just scream it, shout it from a mountain, but since I don't have a mountain, I just might do it here next time I'm on here.
I was right. They were wrong.
Right. It's not even about that. I feel like I'm taking the chance here. I feel like I'm the one that's, on Lone Island here. As far as the wide receivers, Philly Mac said Cadillac had the Niners too. I'm not jumping on the bandwagon.
But the Porsche doesn't have it there, Philly Mac. The Porsche's on the Rams. You know what I'm saying? The Cadillac may be on the 49ers.
Pilar Porsche is on the Rams. All right. As far as the wide receivers, I did take the over on Higbee being over 4.5 receptions.
Well, he's your showdown captain. He better be good.
He better be. He 100% better be. I stayed away from the Cooper Cup 93.5 receiving yards. I just didn't want to stress about it.
I'm taking the over on that. I'm taking the over.
Okay, you're gonna take the over on
Taking
that
the
one.
over.
Okay, I took the over on Deebo Samuel.
Yes.
54.5 yards. I feel he's done very well against them. Like I said earlier in the show, I feel that the Rams have been very generous to opposing wide receivers and allowing 6 different receivers to hit their over number. So hopefully this is going to be 6 and 7 because 7 and 8 for them after this game because I also took the over on Brandon Ayuk on the 49.5.
Look, Brandon Ayuk is very underrated. I mean, when he's good, this dude is 100 yards and a touchdown. But then some games he's like 2 catches for 17 yards and you're thinking, whatever happened there?
Right. Well, that's because I feel like he's that big threat guy, right? So you don't have to rely on the 6, 8 receptions or whatever. He can have 3 receptions and one of them is going to be that huge bomb. And then we're, backstroking through the night going, he hit his number, right? I mean, he can get that 43 yards.
Can you just backstroking through the night for me again, please?
Backstroking through the night.
Exactly.
I'm like an injured whale over here. Whoa. Backstroking through the night because he hit his number early, right? So that's the kind of player that Philly Mac said, I can't afford a Porsche yet. And I was like, yeah, me neither. And he said, meaning all her bets. I know. This is why my husband asked for my passcodes.
No, I want to talk to you about this, Pilar. I'm surprised you gave it to him. Those are personal. If Mrs. Roto walked in here and said, I want your passcodes, I'd be like, yeah, I think we need to talk about this off air. You know what I'm saying?
Really? No.
Yeah.
Would you rather have to give up your passcodes to everything, including all your betting sites, or the passcode to your phone? Let me know on our comments. Which would you rather do?
Are you asking me or are you asking the
I'm
people
asking
out
everybody.
there?
You too.
Oh, I have nothing to hide on my phone.
Me neither.
I have nothing.
My phone is so boring. It is so many pictures of my kids.
But can I tell you what I love about my wife? My wife would not ask me. And that's why we're together for so many years.
Oh, that's sweet.
Because she wouldn't ask. And because we trust each other.
That's really nice. I do love that. My husband asked me for my passcodes for my betting sites.
I got to talk to him.
And I'm going to blame it on Holden because this only started about 2 weeks ago.
I met this degenerate and he's a really nice guy. And now I can't stop betting. And honey, I need your passcodes right now.
Right. He was like, Pilar, you're getting a little crazy. Billy Mack said, my wife bets too, and we do our own thing. I used to try to help her, but she does better on her own. That's where I'm trying to be. That is where I want to be, But I do feel like on Sunday, I didn't want to bet with my own money. So yesterday I bet with his money.
Yeah. Can I blame you for that? No.
No. Considering that the afternoon games were terrible for me.
Can I tell? I don't. It bothers me. So when you have 9 games at 1 p.m. and you've got like 3 late, and the 3 games are the Cardinals, Panthers. You've got you had the Broncos, Raiders. I mean, that was horrible. There were 3 terrible games in the afternoon.
Yep, Green Bay and Patriots.
Oh, that was okay, but it really wasn't a great game. I mean, it was an exciting game at the end, but the 1:00 games were great. I mean, I could watch the Seattle-Detroit game all day.
Well, because that was like a fantasy fest for everybody.
Do you know the guy who won the Millionaire had like 6 guys? Was it 5 or 6 guys in that game? I think he had 3 Seahawks and he may have had 6 players from that game. He just stacked the crap out of that game and won $1 million.
That was smart.
That
was smart. That was really smart. I thought that there was a limit on how many you could do.
No, he still had 1 or 2 guys from other games. He had Josh Jacobs. I know he had Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
I know he had a different defense. And then he just
smart.
I mean, he had Reynolds, Hawkinson, Jamal Williams to go with Geno. And I know he had Metcalf in there. I think he had Lockett too, but it was really crazy. It was a big stat.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. Oh, Penny. Billy Mack was saying Penny.
Yeah, Penny's a great one. Penny was the leverage play because a lot of people didn't want to play Penny because they wanted to go with the passing game. But I mean, the Lions, no offense, Pilar, I know you live in Michigan. They're a great DFS team because they score points and they can't stop anybody.
I know. Trust me, it's not this year only. It was last year, the year prior. Like, it doesn't matter. Most of the time I see teams that improve in their weaknesses. You know what? We still can't stop the run. You know what? We still can't slow down a quarterback.
But they're a fun team to watch.
They are.
Yeah.
Because we put it all on the line. They don't want to lose. They don't want to be losers.
And I love Dan Campbell. I really enjoyed Hard Knocks.
I
really enjoyed Hard Knocks.
The city loves Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
So, all right. So then my last two bets for tonight. Oh no, the George Kittle one I didn't do. He was at 43.5 receiving yards. I didn't bet on him because I felt like he was going to go under, but I wasn't 100% confident. So I can't say it off my chest. If somebody else took that bet, y'all let me know. And then the Cam Akers, 54.5 total yards. So rushing and receiving, I took the under.
Yeah, that feels high to me.
A terrible matchup. So
do you know why? Cam Akers could have one fumble and all of a sudden it's a Henderson game.
Henderson. Yep.
Right.
Darrell Henderson's in there. And he was on the field just as many snaps as Cam Akers was.
Akers looked good though last week. He looked good.
Yeah. I mean, Henderson didn't have as many carries as compared to Akers, but it wasn't that much of a difference. So, right. But yeah, I don't like this. This is a very solid run defense that they're going up against and not one that I want to play. So guys, it is official. The game has started. Let's start sweating it out, everybody.
I can see it. I can see it through your TV.
Can you see it?
I can. If I'm just sitting here like this, that's me watching the game while I'm talking to you. But I can't see it.
All right. I won't think that you're mesmerized.
Yeah, I'm like,
brilliant that I'm saying.
No, I see. Yeah, it's right. Isn't that the stadium? Now I see the field. This is good.
No,
this is better.
My goodness.
Because this way I don't have to like pretend to be watching that. This way it's much better. I can, be with the audience this way. I like that.
That is actually a photo of Eastern Market is like this famous place out here in Detroit. So it's Eastern Market, and that's the butchers, like all the butcher shops. Oh. It's actually a pretty crazy photo if you really do look at it. But
now I just see 49er helmets everywhere. So, but I do think the 49ers are going to play well tonight. And it should be a great game. All right, let's take a little time out. I promised you the Ask Doc segment. So hopefully we'll get to it when we come back. Pilar's got a bunch of questions for me. Hopefully I have a few answers. We'll cover it right after this.
Talk about your picks, your fantasy teams, and your sports collectibles on Bettor Sports Network.
By the way, if you are a commissioner out there, if someone does not pay, that's on you at the end of the day. It sucks. That's why you have to get the money early, because if they don't pay, it's on you. You don't change the prize. A winner shouldn't be impacted because unfortunately you messed up as commissioner. And I've been caught with this before. I've made this mistake. It sucks, and I had to go out of pocket for it. You'll learn that maybe some of your friends should not be in that league. But Roan, we see it all the time with commissioner issues, and I can't stress it enough that when it comes down to league payment, it's on the commissioner if they don't have everybody's entry fee and someone decides to ghost them.
Yeah, I had to collect 36 entry fees this year. All of them were collected except one. And it was one of my friends who said he was going to pay the second. I forgot to remind him. He might even be listening, but I know he's going to pay. If not, I know where he lives. But nah, he'll pay. But yeah, I mean,
big brother Adam Rodas over here.
And even the guy that I've talked about before that usually always pays me at the end, he actually paid on time this time. He usually is like, I'll pay you on Friday, and then it doesn't come, and then it's 4 months later. And he always winds up paying. That's why I don't really get upset. But you've seen my emails. I don't play around. Like, no. This is the date. This is the date. You get it in by then. And I always, too, I'm like, the draft order will be determined when everyone pays. Right. So don't hit me up about the draft order. Once everyone pays, then the draft order will be done. And anyone who's been in this league, now Festy can't attest to this because he's never won money in my league, but the people who do win, they get it right away. Usually the next day or two. Just make sure the scoring, especially with football, no scoring changes. As long as it's not like a point victory, half a point, and then they'll get the money right
What
away.
about 2 points?
Yeah, I mean, wait it out just in case something crazy happens. I guess I don't wait till Thursday when the official scoring happens.
Yeah, man. I mean, a championship that I was in years ago got reversed, and I ended up winning on a Thursday stat correction.
Yeah,
of all
man,
things.
that kind of sucks.
But
You
not
hope
me, I won.
you hope it doesn't come down to that. If you're on the better end of that, it's great. But man, imagine thinking you won, you got the money, and then it changes. That's tough.
Make bets and follow your fantasy team while you buy, sell, and trade collectibles in real time. Only on Bettor Sports Network.
We are back. It's Dr. Roto here with Pilar Lastra, and I'm checking out this game behind Pilar's shoulder there, and it looks nothing's really happened yet. Has anything really happened yet, Pilar?
So, Rams have the ball. They're still very early in the game. But what I will say is that it's early, and the players that we want to get action are the ones getting the action. It's not some random player. So far, Matthew Stafford has had 5 for 5 with 29 yards passing. He's also ran the ball once for 4 yards. Cam Akers has got 2 carries for 5 yards. Higbee's got 2 receptions, 12 yards. Cooper Kupp, 3 receptions for 27 yards. So everybody so far has caught what has been thrown their way. Stafford is 5 for 5, 2 targets to Higbee. He's caught both of them. Cooper Kupp's caught his 3 targets. So right now, this is a good role for fantasy owners, right? But
it's a very good role. And of course, you were worried about the Cooper Kupp 93. He may get that in the first quarter. And your boy Higbee looks pretty good.
Higbee, yep. So hopefully it continues to stay this way. Nothing is more upsetting than when the game first starts and you have some random pass to anybody, right? If you want to throw it to somebody random, here's a hint. Throw it to Allen Robinson.
He feels very random.
Yes, that feels so random right now. If you want to throw it to somebody random, throw it to Allen Robinson, because I've got him in my. He's going to do well tonight. I think Matt, Better Boss on here, has also got him going.
Oh,
so.
he's an Allen Robinson truther. So hopefully.
Is he?
Oh, big truther. Big truther.
Here we go. All right.
So do we
the night has started. Here we go. We're sweating it out. And so far it's good. So let's play a little game.
All right, let's do it.
The office is open, as you say, right?
Always open.
Oh, always open.
The office is open.
If you guys want to get your questions in, hit us up on here. Give us a call. Hit the like button. Because Duck always loves to answer your questions.
Always.
So I've got some questions for you. Last week we saw some crazy names on the leaderboards. And we're going to ask you whether you think that this was finally their time to shine, or you think it was a fluke, just a matchup. Don't buy into it. So I've got a couple questions in here on that, a couple other Doc questions. So
fire away. I'm ready. I'm ready for you.
All right. Damien Pierce, right? This little Houston running back. We've been waiting for this day to come, and it finally came against the Chargers. 131 rushing yards and the rushing touchdown. He also had 6 receptions for 8 yards. In PPR, 25.90 fantasy points. He finished 5th overall. I don't know when was the last time I said a Houston Texans running back finished in the top 5 that wasn't really like Arian Foster.
I was going to say Arian Foster about 10 years ago. Yeah.
So long ago since I have said that a Houston running back has been in the top 5. They do face Jacksonville next. Do you feel that this was just a beat up Chargers defense, or do you think that finally this was Houston finding their sea legs?
A little bit of both. I think losing Joey Bosa is never a good thing for any defense, right? I mean, that's a problem. But Damien Pierce is a real deal. I took him in the 4th and 5th round of a ton of drafts, especially in high stakes drafts when I knew if I waited too long, I couldn't get him. But I love Pilar. I love the 6 catches. I didn't like the 8 yards, but the fact that he got 6 catches, you're talking about 6.8 points free to you in a PPR to go on top of the rushing yards. So we really haven't seen that to this point. I think the sky's a limit for this kid. They're committed to the run. They haven't really let Davis Mills air it out much. I mean, Cooks has done a decent job, nothing special. So I think Damien Pierce, that's if you're talking fact or fluke, he's fact.
Okay. All right, next question, Doc. Please fill in the blank. If you are running and you feel tightness in your hip, you should
call an Uber.
Okay. Call an Uber. All right. Here we go. Replay Real wants to know, if you trade Jamar Chase, who are a few names you'd take for him besides Cup?
I think we're trading Chase too early. I think we felt this way last year. I felt like people were down on Chase, and all of a sudden he literally won you a fantasy championship. So you got to be very careful with that. When you're trading a Chase, you're probably going to get like a 2-for-1, but you're getting 2 inferior players for Chase, right? So that's not the direction I normally like to go. I like to get the best player in the deal, not the 2 lesser players. So let's see, who am I getting in a deal? Would we take Adam Thielen and Devonta Smith? No, right? You want a guy, and you're not going to get St. Brown for him. You're not going to get, would you do Gabriel Davis for him and Rashad Bateman? Maybe, but Bateman's hurt. So
I don't think I could. I'm trying to really look at. There was a trade.
DK Metcalf. So Better Boss asked DK. Pilar, would you take Metcalf and Gabe Davis for Jamar Chase?
I feel like that would be a fair deal, but I personally would want Jamar Chase on my team.
Right.
That's how I feel. On yesterday's show, there was a trade question that I had brought up that I had gotten on social media. That was somebody panicking with Tyreek Hill and his quarterback situation. And they were going to trade away Tyreek Hill. And one of the players that they were picking up was Jamar Chase. And I forgot who the other player was off the top of my head, but I actually liked the deal. I would have taken that. I felt like it was a very fair deal. But I personally like Jamar Chase. So.
Yeah, I think fantasy managers almost outthink themselves. So they're like, well, if Tua's hurt, well, Teddy Bridgewater kind of sucks. So let me trade Tyreek Hill now. But I don't want to trade Tyreek Hill. What if Tua comes back in a week and is, playing great?
I don't think he will.
So how long do you think Tua's out for?
I don't know. I think that for his own good, two head injuries the way he had, this could be season ending, if not career ending. And if you look at, there's I'm trying to think what game it was that now I'm just going to have to pull it up.
I'll get Dr. Jesse Morse on with me tomorrow night. I will make sure Dr. Jesse's with us, and I will ask him specifically because he's down in Miami. He knows all these things. I'll ask him about Tua. I think Tua comes back this year, Pilar. I do. I think it may be a month, but I think he comes back.
I think he does come back. I 100% do think that he comes back, but I could see people starting to freak out over Tyreek Hill's stock, right?
That makes sense.
Last year, I'm trying to find the trade. So it was for Jamar Chase and Cordell Patterson in PPR leagues.
But Patterson's on the injured reserve.
Right, but I still like the Jamar Chase for that. But the their thing was that Teddy Bridgewater is also somebody who is kind of shaken when it comes to concussions.
Oh, yeah.
Last year it took him out for the season.
But I like the third guy there. What's his name? Skylar Thompson, I think. Watch him. I kind of like him. I like him more than Teddy Bridgewater. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Philly Mac says, I lost Javonte Wires thin. Who should I add? Dontrell Hilliard. I don't hate him. Don't love him. He's kind of meh to me. Burkhead, same kind of thing. He's like Dontrell Hilliard, except in a different uniform. I do like Pacheco. I thought he ran real well last night.
Mm-hmm.
Zach Moss, I don't trust as far as I can throw him. Boone is just really, really a jag. Lat Murray is not going to play much when Alvin Kamara's back. Donta Foreman or Hubbard, I don't think I'm getting anything there. I think I will go Burkhead 1, Pacheco 2, Hilliard 3. I love Rashad White if he's out there, Merce. I love him. I don't like him. I love him. Dude can ball. And if Leonard Fournette gets an injured cuticle, that dude's going off. So if he's out there in your waiver wire, he's my favorite.
That is so true. All right, guys, keep the questions coming because the doc is in and the office is always open.
Always open.
So, all right.
Is James Cook droppable? Yeah. Sadly, they're not even using him, Pilar. James Cook from the Bills. I've been waiting for 4 weeks now. It's like looking for a UFO. I can't find it.
If you lived in California, you'd certainly see them.
Oh, so maybe I have to move out there and I can look for James Cook and find a UFO the same night.
You'll see them. And then it's so crazy. You see these crazy UFO sightings, insane things, not very often, but they're all over the internet on people's social media. And then you'll see like a statement release that, oh, we were just launching a rocket or something. It doesn't look like a rocket, guys.
Rocket.
Right. All right, guys, keep them coming. We've got another one that we want to talk about. Jets running back, right?
Go ahead.
So we got Hall against Pittsburgh. He had 66 rushing yards, 1 rushing touchdown, 2 receptions for 12 receiving yards. It was 15.8 fantasy points in PPR leagues. They've got Miami next week. What are your thoughts on this? Is this somebody who's going to continue to give you those 15 PPR fantasy points?
Now, Pilar, I don't know if you know this, but I have roto children. I have real life children, but I have roto children. So my last year's roto child was Jamar Chase roto. We started out with Julio Jones roto, the original roto child. We've had Christian McCaffrey roto. We've had Brandon Cooks roto, Keenan Allen roto. There have been many roto children over the years, but this year's roto child is Breece Hall roto. So I am all in on Breece Hall roto. Love the guy. When he's running and Michael Carter's running, you can tell the difference. He's faster and he can catch. And look, I was really excited for the Jets yesterday. Breece Hall looked great. Zach Wilson won that game. The defense played well enough. I know Mitch Trubisky stinks, but I think if you like the gang green, you got to be a little bit excited there about how they looked.
I love that. I love that he is one of the roto children now. So we're all in on him. So Philly Mac wants to just clarify this. You got Pacheco, then Hilliard
and Burkhead.
I get these.
Yes, Pacheco, Hilliard, Burkhead. And here's why. I want the best offense. And Pacheco's on the best offense. And he was out there a lot last night. There was Jerick McKinnon was on a milk carton, but it was CEH and Pacheco. So those are the guys. I think I'd rather take him.
All right. So there you go. Thumbs up on that one, my friend. All right. Next question. It's going to be a multiple choice.
Ooh, okay.
If you are prone to plantar fasciitis, you should probably A, clip your toenails, B, ice your knee, or C, stretch your calves.
Well, A, you should always cut your toenails because that's kind of vile if you don't. Okay. B, ice never hurt anybody.
Ice your knee.
Oh, I know, but I ice my knee just because, hey, it's Tuesday and I probably walk too much. But I would go with C. I'd do as much stretching as possible. And you know this, Pilar. You know that stretching is key to a healthy existence.
100%. And in particular, for any feet problem, it's stretching your calves, making sure that your Achilles tendon is not tight, therefore not causing any heel strains and pulls to your plantar fasciitis issues.
Like
and I want you to know, I'm getting these from Wiki Answers.
Oh, look at that. I'm all about Wiki. Do you ever just wake up though and it hurts a lot when you step on it? Yeah, that's very, very painful. I hate when players get it, you're like, get out there. It really hurts.
Totally. And then the shoes you need to wear, they're like moon shoes. They're very geriatric. You got to wear them. But it's the only way you're going to get through it. Like I've had it before. I've had it twice.
Oh.
I've had it twice. And it's awful.
Yeah. And they're not very attractive shoes, so you got to suck it up.
No, when I worked on Deal or No Deal with those high heels all the time, our feet were always used to being up. Our calves were always so tight. And then we tried to walk in flip-flops because we lived in California and it was just plantar fasciitis for everybody.
When you were doing that, how often were you, like when they tape, were you standing on your feet like that? Is it hours at a time or is it like minutes?
Oh, no. It was hours. It was hours. We filmed 3 days a week, every other week. And we were there, from 7 o'clock in the morning to 9, sometimes 10, sometimes midnight.
And how many shows would they film in once? Like 5, 6?
2.5.
2.5. Wow. Now, is Howie Mandel a great guy or not?
Oh, he's a super great guy.
He seems like a great guy.
Super duper great guy. A lot of fun. He's really funny. I wish sometimes that they would have put in the inappropriate humor that he said, because he would be so funny. So funny.
But I cut it out.
It wasn't crazy offensive. But, I mean, I feel, I don't know. I wish that they would have put in more of his humor in there because he's such a cool cat. So, all right. We got some more questions.
Better Boss is wearing the inserts in his shoes. So always a practical man, that Better Boss.
That's right. Forget the inserts. Oh my gosh. I'm going to go buy inserts for my shoes just in case the next time I get plantar fasciitis or it flares up and my husband is really going to go through the roof on this.
All right. So Merce did ask, he's got Kirk Cousins. Would I stay with him or consider? You got to consider Goff right now. Goff is not even a consideration. He's a fact. That's how good he is. So Pickett and Wilson, those guys are streamers. Geno Smith I like, but he's got the Saints next week. I'm not thrilled. Jared Goff is legit. The only thing is, guys, Jared Goff is on bye week 6. So you're going to play him next week, and now all of a sudden you're not. So don't drop Cousins. I would probably drop somebody else on my team for him because I believe Cousins is a week 7 bye week. So that way you can then start flipping and flopping.
All right, perfect. Red Run is saying, I just lost Javonte. Do you think I should pick up Mike Boone?
Boone is a Jag. He's fine. But I will tell you, you want to hear, I want to tell you a Mike Boone story, Pilar. Would you like to hear one?
I do.
So years ago, Dalvin Cook always gets injured. And I had this crazy bet that I put in, and it was that Mike Boone was going to run for 2 touchdowns. 2 touchdowns. Sure enough, I threw like $30 on it, won $1,500.
Stop it.
True story. It was that when Dalvin Cook got hurt in the second quarter, Mike Boone comes in, he gets a touchdown in the third quarter, gets a touchdown in the fourth quarter, baby. And I was cashing in $1,500 on Mike Boone getting 2 touchdowns. So I am the president of the Mike Boone fan club, and I'm telling you, he's a jack. I love, was it 3 touchdowns that day? Probably.
Yeah.
All right, Doc, what is my thoughts on Craig Reynolds? I kind of like Netflix. And let me tell you something. Jamal Williams is great. However, what we always realize is this. When he gets his opportunity, he always finds a way to get hurt. Oh, he plays well for like a couple of weeks, and then he always gets hurt. And you're like, come on, dude, just stay healthy. So that's why Netflix is worth it. He had 1 carry yesterday for 20 yards, and he looked great. So I give him a shot.
All right, there you have it. Next question that we got for you guys. Keep them coming. We love to see all these comments and questions because the doc is in and the office is always open.
Always open.
Always open.
Always open.
Oh, always open.
Except when I'm sleeping.
All right. Except for what?
When I'm sleeping.
All right. So that would be what? In my world, it's 9:00. 9:15 tonight because we got this show. But typically, let's be honest, 9:15. If there's a game on, I'm like this, trying to keep my eyes open.
Mama Roto, if it's 7, I can't call that house past 7:30 because there's a good chance they're sleeping. I'm like, come on, guys, you're killing me.
Oh my goodness.
So Red Rum says, I got a question. How good is Adam Ronis at fantasy sports? Adam Ronis is one of the top 3 fantasy baseball players I know. The other 2 are Rudy Gamble and Vlad Sedler. Those 3 are in the Mount Rushmore. And he's really good at NBA. Not too many people are good at NBA. And he's very, very, very good at football. So Ronis is right there and one of the top dudes in the industry and one of the nicest guys I know.
Oh, couldn't find you a nicer guy for sure. For sure. So, all right, next question, guys. Keep them coming. All right, let's talk a little bit about Brandon Cooks. You'd mentioned him earlier. Houston's wide receivers. I mean, we really haven't had anybody that's just that breakout guy. Maybe you got Brandon Cooks on your bench and you didn't really start him this week against the Chargers. Was it the matchup? Again, a beat-up Chargers defense, but he did catch 7 for 57 and 1 touchdown. That's 18.7 fantasy points in PPR. Jaguars are next. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, we love Brandon Cooks. He has his air yards. He was due, right? He's due for the breakout. And so I think a lot of people like myself, he was in a lot of my DFS lineups. I had Eckler and I correlated with Cooks. I thought that was the move this week. It turned out to be pretty good. I'm a big Brandon Cooks fan. I think they need to throw the ball more. I think that the Texans are too conservative with their offense. They got to take some shots. Cooks is a number one. Look, so let's get back to the Jamar Chase question. If you offer me DK Metcalf and Brandon Cooks for Jamar Chase, I'm thinking about it.
Wow.
I don't know if I'm doing it, but I'm thinking about it. I got two guys with high upside. The problem is the Seahawks and Texans are crappy teams, and I don't want guys on bad teams. So, but I do like Brandon Cooks a lot. Merce asked about Kyle Pitts. Pilar, Kyle Pitts.
I'm done with Kyle Pitts.
No.
And I mean, I got 99 problems, and Kyle Pitts, thankfully, is not one of them.
Yeah, he's one of them for me.
He's for everybody. And maybe that's why it's so easy for me to say, trade him for somebody who's got hopes or whatever. Dude, he's let you down for 4 weeks straight.
But if you trade him, he's going to get like 100 yards 4 weeks in a row, 3 touchdowns, and you're going to ruin it.
Then that's fine. Let him be somebody else's problem there, because what if you don't and he goes another? They're just not throwing him the ball.
I know. I'm in a league where I kid you not, Pilar, I lost Javonte Williams and I have DeAndre Swift. I need a running back. And this one guy in my league has like Miles Sanders, Singletary, but he's got Mike Gesicki as his tight end. I was thinking of actually offering Kyle Pitts for like Singletary and Sanders. And I hate that deal because Pitts is better than them, but I might do it.
I would do it. Like, look, you're going to get 2 decent names. You're not going to get a stud. You're not going to get, even if you did just a 1-for-1, you're not going to get a stud, right? You're going to get 2 decent players for somebody that you're like holding your breath, hoping like, when is it going to happen? You know what? If it was something like, oh, he's getting the targets, but he's just not catching, he's being overcovered, like something.
Right. No. It'd be different. Yeah, this is not different.
No, I think he needs to wear like a different outfit so that,
maybe a Drake London outfit, because that guy's getting the ball. Kyle Pitts is not.
Yeah.
All right, let's take our final timeout of the evening, and we come back. You ask us questions, we'll give you an answer. We'll give you an update of what's going on with the 49ers and Rams. We'll do it when we come back right after this.
Network. Collectible moments.
Everybody up here at U.S. Cellular. Sox 5 runs, 6 hits. The 2-1 to Bartlett. Swing shot to short. Ramirez has it, throws. Burley picks the perfect game. His second no-hitter. People going crazy here at U.S. Cellular. He's mobbed by his teammates. A perfecto.
Now there's a steal by Bird. Underneath the DJ, lays it in. Right up, 1 second left. What a play by Bird. Bird stole the impounding pass. Laid it up to DJ. DJ laid it up and in. And Boston has a 1-point lead with 1 second left.
Out of the I formation on first down. Peterson to carry, looking for running room on the right side, has it to the 25, across the 30, across the 35, and out of bounds at the 40-yard line. Adrian Peterson has just gone over 2,000 yards for the season, the 7th man in NFL history to cross the 2,000-yard mark.
Well, a thundering ovation for number 66, Mario Lemieux.
Just the emotion I'm sure Mario is feeling in this place. You don't appreciate something until it's gone, and it's so great to have Mario back.
Yager turns around. Over to Lemieux. Mario Lemieux, his first goal in his comeback here tonight at the Mellon Arena. And the Penguins lead 3-0, and he is smiling like a butcher's dog. Mario Lemieux.
Oh, the band is out on the field. He's going to go into the end zone. The Bears have scored, but the Bands are out on the field.
Pearson moves in front of the STP Dodge. Petty comes back to the inside. They almost touch as they move down low in the banking. They're going to be side by side as they exit the bank and head for the finish line.
Richard Petty goes back in front. They both spin. They're in the wall. Petty is sliding, slamming into the wall. He's coming down toward the finish line. Will he make it? Pearson is still running. The winner is car number 21. An amazing finish. Richard Petty's car demolished in the front end, as well as car number 21. An unbelievable finish, a terrible crash. David Pearson has won the Daytona 500. Leitner catches, comes down, dribbles, shoots, scores! Christian Leitner has hit the bucket at the buzzer! Pitched by Downey, swinging, there's a drive into left-handed field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7-15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron. The most valuable player is Magic Johnson. 42 points, 15 rebounds, and 7 assists. He starts at center, plays forward and guard, and leads the Los Angeles Lakers to a world championship 123-107 over Philadelphia.
Whether you collect sports memorabilia, fantasy championships, or winning bet slips, talk about it on Bettor Sports Network.
Dr. Roto here with Pilar Lastra. And we are taking a look. Well, it's 7-3. And it's the 49ers beating the Rams. And let's see, Jimmy Garoppolo, 4 for 5 for 44 yards. Jeff Wilson Jr., 2 carries, 30 yards, and a touchdown. Deebo Samuel, 1 carry for 1 yard. Juwan Jennings, 2 receptions, 22 yards. Brandon Ayuk, 1 reception, 15 yards. Deebo, 1 for 7. Bosa with a sack for the Rams. Matthew Stafford, 7 for 8 for 52 yards. Cam Akers, 4 carries, 8 yards. That's a little ugly. Henderson, 1 carry, 7 yards. Stafford, 1 for 4. Cooper Kupp, 3 for 27. Your boy Higbee, 3 for 19. Henderson, 1 for 6. And Cam Akers with 1 target, but no catch.
Right.
So low scoring first quarter.
Yeah. 7-3, 49ers. And the 49ers have the ball. So let's see what they can get done now. Hopefully, look, I just want to see Ayuk and Samuel on here. Enough with this Jennings thing. I understand it's early in the game, but 2 targets, 2 catches. He's been so far in this game. I understand that it's still the first quarter. There's a minute and a half left in this first quarter, but Jennings does have the most targets. That's
they love. Here's a secret. They love Juwan Jennings. They love him. And if Ayuk or Deebo would ever get hurt on the waiver wire,
sure,
he'd go for $250 because he's got talent. They just don't use him a lot because you got Deebo, they want to run, they got Ayuk, they have Kittle. But I think the big thing here is we haven't seen any George Kittle in this box score, right? Because I think they're keeping him in because they know that who made that catch there?
That was Samuel.
Oh, look at that.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Replay Real asks, Jamison Williams, half-point PPR, would have to drop Dotson or Palmer, have Keenan, stash him. These are bench players in an emergency, short roster league. So did you see Jahan Dotson was injured?
Yes, he is. And what was there was more information on it. He's actually, as the updates were going, I think he's out for 2 weeks is what it was.
Yeah, could keep him out a week or two.
Yeah.
Could keep him out a week or two. You can't drop Palmer if you have Keenan Allen, right? Because you want to have the Charger, and that's a good offense. I'm okay. I like Jahan Dotson so much.
Yeah.
I think I'd hold him.
Expecting him to be out for 1 to 2 weeks minimum.
Would you drop Dotson for Jamison Williams, the rookie out of Alabama, who's first coming back maybe after the bye week?
I don't think that I would, because I do like him a lot. There's a lot of upside in him. I'm not dropping him if I have room on my bench.
Right.
But then are you going to drop Palmer?
No, because I have Keenan. He goes, they have Rashad White or Pickens. You're not dropping Rashad White or Pickens, okay? You're not doing that. So we love Rashad White. We love Pickens.
Totally.
Detroit, yeah. I think I would just leave Jamison Williams out there as long as you can, unless you have an IR spot, and then you could put Dotson on the IR spot. But I don't think he's going to go on IR. I think he's just going to miss a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I mean, that's not what it sounds. It's a hamstring injury is what he's got. And Ron Rivera said that in the press conference that he did suffer the hamstring injury in the fourth quarter of last week's game. And
I hate when I don't. Pilar, you ever notice that you don't see the injury and then you're on Roto World and you check it out and you're like, oh, he's going to be out 2 weeks. You're like, what'd I miss?
Right. This morning. I totally. So this is certainly one that I would keep an eye out, but they do have Terry McLaurin there. They do have Curtis Samuels. That's going to be a big upside to them. Do you have any interest in Brown there?
Diami Brown. He's interesting.
Yeah.
Now if Dotson's not there,
for 2 weeks. I mean, would that be something you're targeting on the waiver wires or?
Nah, no. Do you want anybody with Carson Wentz throwing you the football?
No, I don't. But They're facing Tennessee next week. So, if
I like McLaurin
McLaurin
against Tennessee.
Mhm.
I'd like you against Tennessee. Get out there.
So then would you like Brown against Tennessee though?
No, I like McLaurin again. I like McLaurin and Samuel against Tennessee. Brown is like that guy who maybe makes one catch and you're like, oh, nice catch. And then I never hear from him again.
Right.
But McLaurin can ball. And
Right.
Dotson, that dude doesn't drop a ball.
Mm-mm.
He's really got good hands.
Yeah, this one was a big hit for them. So, all right, guys, keep them coming.
End of the first, it's 7-3. So if you have the under, you have 10 points. You have to get 32 more to go.
On which one? Who just had it? I was reading the comments. Who just had what? What did I miss? Who do I have? How many more points to go? I'm sweating it.
Well,
it's
it's early. Don't sweat it yet. It's only 7-3. That's only 10 points. You can get 31 more points in this game, and it'll be okay.
Here we go. Here we go, guys. All right. And the fun starts. Hey, listen, I know that we're up against the clock here, but I want to play a quick game with you because I've had so much fun with you. It's the month of Halloween. I don't know if I'm going to get to work with you again this month. I hope that I do, but let's do a quick round of trick or treat.
Okay.
I'm going to list off some names of things, and you tell me which you would rather see in your Halloween bucket.
Okay.
All right. Candy corn or Hershey's milk chocolate bars?
I'm going to tell you the answer is candy corn because Mrs. Roto loves candy corn.
Oh, I love them too. I like to just chew on them, like just tiny little bites, and then put the whole, like, you know what I mean?
She
Just chew, just like a little rat nibbling on them. It's just so much fun to eat. And then I think about it, I'm like, you're eating pretty much just wax and sugar. I should say.
literally wax and sugar, but she loves them. Yeah. Okay.
All right. You guys let us know which you would rather take. Bubbles or a whoopee cushion?
Bubbles?
True story. I handed out whoopee cushions 2 years ago. Bubbles. Whoopee cushions are
neither, but okay.
No, you don't have a choice. You don't get to go to somebody's house and be like, I don't want any of these. Go
I don't want to give him a whoopee cushion. I mean, neither. I'll go with bubbles.
You can go with bubbles. You can go with bubbles.
I went bubbles. All right.
Apples or a quarter?
So I'm actually giving somebody an apple or I'm giving somebody a quarter?
You are getting.
Oh, give me a quarter.
All right, I'll take the quarter. Nerds or Nestle Crunch?
Ooh. Huh. I think my son likes Nerds. I don't eat much candy, if any. So I'll get Nerds for him.
All right, Nerds. A Disney keychain flashlight or a dollar bill?
Ooh. My daughter is big on Disney. I'm just doing this for them because I'm not a Halloween person, Pilar. Is that a horrible thing to say?
Let's say you were trick-or-treating, but okay, you can take the Disney keychain flashlight.
I'll take the Disney keychain for my daughter.
Okay. Snickers bar or Milky Way bar?
Neither bar.
You don't have a choice.
Oh, I don't have a choice.
Give them to you anyways.
Oh, okay. Milky Way because I kind of like the wrapper.
Fair enough. You don't get to go to somebody's house and be like, I don't like your candy.
Yeah. Go to your refrigerator and get me a steak.
Milk Duds or Thin Mints?
I hate mint, but I hate Milk Duds. I hate them all. Thin Mints. I don't know.
Good choice.
Okay.
Reese's Pieces cups or Reese's Pieces?
I hate peanut butter.
Oh
I hate peanut butter. I hate the smell of peanut butter. If I smell peanut butter, I want to hurl. I don't even let my wife have it in the house. I can't smell it. She loves peanut butter. If I get a whiff, I'm like, whoa, I get a puke. Hate it.
All right, so I would say you got to take the Reese's Pieces. I feel like they're more chocolate and less peanut butter. All right, M&M's or Skittles?
Ooh, M&M's.
Ooh, Sour Patch Kids or Twizzlers for the final one?
Ooh, I know my son loves Sour Patch Kids, but Twizzlers is like the one candy when I was a kid I didn't hate. The red Twizzlers.
They're so good.
They are good. And then you walk around and you're just eating a Twizzler all day. It's kind of cool.
I know. I used to put them like in like my juice.
Oh, really?
Like apple juice and Twizzlers. So weird, but so good.
It's a little weird, but I could see where that'd be good.
This year for Halloween, I'm going to hand out, my husband is pissed, little kid travel size things of a toothbrush and some toothpaste.
Do you know, I want to tell you a true story. My kid's dentist gives them money if they bring back their candy.
Oh, that's
it's like a nickel. It's like a nickel a thing. So a kid can come back and, make like, $10 or something like that. That's a steal. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. All right. Replay Real wants to know, do we bid on Mark Ingram at this point? Standard only.
I mean,
or Murray.
not if we don't want to light money on fire, right? So no. But I will say this. They do play the Seahawks next week. I think Alvin Kamara was close to playing. And by the way, Pilar, I don't know if you saw that this week. There was a big thing on Twitter. People were complaining, well, he got pulled out last second. It was an early game. Look, pay attention.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
100%.
People were upset that he was inactive. What are we going to do?
Yeah, but we were kind of expecting him to be inactive.
You didn't, right. You had to be. I woke up at 9:00. I mean, I checked. I have Kamara in 3 lineups. I pulled him out. Then I went,
Yeah.
That's what you got to do.
100%. And just because the player thinks he's going to come back or the media says he's going to come back, doesn't mean he's going to come back. It's a rib injury. It's going to take every day of 6 weeks for it to heal. I mean, he can try to do pain management, but it's really hard. Really hard.
I think I always defer to like 1 more week. If a guy thinks he's ready, give him another week.
Right. And I'm going to say that about Dak Prescott. He's eyeing to come back next week in week 5. Best case scenario, they don't need him to come back. Right.
Cooper Rush has been on fire.
Cowboys are doing pretty darn good. Take your time right now.
They have won more games with Cooper Rush than they ever thought. You're playing the Rams next week. So what? Nobody ever wants to lose a week, but I think you're getting a lot out of Cooper Rush. Give me Dak an extra week. I have no problem with that.
Yeah. Quick update on the game. Rams got the ball, still 3-7. 49ers are on top there. Stafford's got 7 for 9, or completed 7
for 9 for 52 yards. The 49ers, though, get a load of this. Ayuk 2 for 26, Jennings 2 for 22, Deebo Samuel 2 for 22.
Yeah.
That's pretty, Jimmy G is looking pretty good out there.
Yep, just the very start of the second quarter. So, I mean, we've got Higbee 3 for 19. Yeah, Cooper Kupp, he said. I mean, Cam Akers, we took the under on him. So I'm still happy to see him at 4 for 8 and nothing when it comes to receiving.
I think that one feels like a winner to me. Unless he breaks off one run, that feels like a winner to me.
I think so too. So I don't know. I mean, everybody else, good luck for the rest of the night. I'm going to be sweating this one out for you.
Will you be up for the entire game, though?
Oh, well, now I have to. I mean, I've got so many bets going. You know what I mean?
You're going to have like one eye open. Did I win?
I'm going to have to set an alarm like every single time something happens. Like, oh, what happened? What happened? What happened? How are my bets doing? So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I'm a little scared, though, right now. I took the Rams plus the
It's early. It's early. If it's the fourth quarter, then I'd be worried about you, but I'm not worried. I think you got a real shot, and I'm rooting for you because you know that we're friends, and I'm rooting for you. I hope you win.
Thanks, Doc. I'm rooting for you too, except for the win for the 49ers and everybody else who's tuning in today. So that's how that goes. Hey, also big thanks to our guest.
Well, we appreciate Pilar Portia. She was a great guest. And of course, Jeff Cadillac. And you can follow him at Jeff Cadillac 1, not like he's Jeff Cadillac 2. But time now to put away the insurance cards, put away the copay. The office is closed, my friends. Pilar, when are you on next on this channel?
I'm off the next 2 weeks because we got a family vacation.
Okay. So when are you back?
After 2 weeks.
All right. On Sundays, right? Right? On Sundays?
Sundays.
All right, Sundays from 5 to 8. You can listen to Pilar. You can find me tomorrow night from 7 to 9 p.m. tomorrow. And, of course, we'll back Friday from 10 to 12. So we appreciate that you being on. Of course, thank you to Bennett. Thank you to Anthony. And thank you guys out there for being part of our show. All right, for Dr. Roto and Pilar Lastra, be well and take care.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Great show. A lot of fun.